Hey, we're Daniel and Bonnie.
This is the Marriage Adventure. We recently had the opportunity to sit down with some great friends of ours, and they were telling us about a new season that they're in. Our pastor Mike and his Ann. We recently had the opportunity to sit down with some great friends of ours, our pastor Mike and his wife Ann Lynch, and they were telling us about a new season that they're in their marriage, and that's the empty nest. They have not too long ago launched two godly young adults into this world, and they're in this season now where it's just the two of them. And they said they're learning to enjoy it. They're actually enjoying this season, but they said it wasn't easy. At the beginning, they said they told us about the time when they took their oldest son to college and dropped him off. So they were not prepared for how tough that goodbye was going to be. They got in the car, they said goodbye to Casey, they got in the car and they drove home and they cried, and then they just sat in silence because they said it felt like leaving a little piece of their heart behind.
It's really tough as parents because we're called to do two seemingly polar opposite things at the same time. First, we want to create this family that's tight-knit and that's close, where there's a lot of trust and your kids feel comfortable coming to you in their situations and different things like that, and there's a deep friendship there. But also, we're called to prepare them to launch, because at the end of the day, our kids aren't ours. We are stewards of their life. They belong to God. They're their own people. They just live with us for 18, 20, maybe some of you 30, 45 years. I don't know. But it's very difficult to do both of those things at the same time. And, Bonnie and I are about 8 or 10 years away from the empty nest. And so it's really difficult for us to put ourselves in those shoes. So what do? We say that hindsight's 20/20, but how do you get 20/20 vision when you've never been there and you don't have that experience? Well, for us, sometimes what I find myself doing a lot is I kind of project myself into the future a little bit mentally and just think about, what are my kids going to need? What's life going to be like when my kids launch, when my kids go off to college, or when they finish college, when they get a job and a career? And then I look at people around me that have done that. And then I come back to reality in my mind, and I try to take those things that I've kind of seen in the future, and I try to put them in my life where I am. And you know what I realized is that every investment I make in my child is an investment that can reap dividends and rewards for them when they launch. And also, every investment I make in my marriage is preparing us to reap dividends and rewards when we reach that empty nest.
Part of that investment is just sitting down with people like Mike and Ann and asking them, what did you do well? How do we prepare? And I said, what would you tell someone who is preparing for the empty nest? And one of the things Ann said is, one, look for teachable moments. That window that you have your children is starting to close. As they're in high school and making plans for college, there are less and less times that you're going to have to teach them. So pray for teachable moments and look for those moments to happen. It might be in a car drive, it might be over dinner, or when you least expect it, they ask you a question. But whenever that comes up, take that moment, take that time to be teaching them what you want to invest in them. And the other thing she said is, don't think that your child's not thinking about it. They're preparing to leave, they've got all these hopes and dreams, but there's this internal conflict that they're struggling with as well, that they don't know what's going to happen. Their security is here at home, and they're getting ready to go. And they look at you and they see maybe you're sad, maybe you've expressed to them how much you're not looking forward to them leaving, so they don't want to make you sad by talking about all the fun things coming up in their lives. Create those safe places for them to talk about how sad they are in one moment, and then to talk about how excited they are in the other. Celebrate that with them. Don't make them process your emotions through this, but let them know you care and you love them and that you want to walk it through with them.
Yeah, you may not want to let them know how excited you are for them to leave. Don't do that. That's probably not good. So what do you do if you're like us and you're a few years away from that? I think you've got to make intentional investments like we were talking about earlier. That's why we're constantly asking you guys to join the Marriage Adventure Challenge, because it's investments like that, it's those adventures, those dates, that's going to put money in the bank for your relationship that you'll draw from later when your kids leave the nest. And then maybe your kids have already left. Maybe you've already woken up and thought, who is this person beside me that I married? I don't know them. What do you do? Well, there was a time in your life 20, 30 years ago where you fell in love with that person and where you decided, I don't know them, but I want to know them. And I want to date them and I want to go on adventures with them for the rest of my life. You know what? Get back to that place. Get back to that place where you decide, I don't know you anymore, but I want to know you. I want to know the new you, and I want you to know the new me. And I think that's a great place to start.
Well, thanks for watching us this week. We hope that you'll hit the subscribe button, subscribe to our channel, and then follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Well, have a great week and enjoy your adventure.